Hi everyone, this is Rita Zamora. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about dental membership plans and social media. If you haven't already, please remember to hit the subscribe button so you can keep up with all of the awesome tips and insight and keep growing your practice with social media. Today I'm super excited and I'm always happy to talk with my dear friend, and I would say she's a dental bestie as well, Teresa Duncan.
Hey,
Teresa.
Rita. So nice to see you.
Yeah, it's always great to see you too. Share with our listeners, our audience, a little bit about you and what you do. I like to joke and say we call you the money lady in dentistry, but you can explain what that means.
I do. I love money. So I'm really good with collecting money and talking about money, and I'm an insurance nerd. So I'm one of those few people that really loves talking about insurance, which usually, our friend Kevin Henry has to tell me to shut up about it because I talk about it too much. And, I don't realize I'm putting people to sleep, but it happens, right? So, but yeah, known as the money lady, known as the insurance lady.
You're so funny. Oh my gosh. And don't forget, and I think you should say, yes, you are joking because your classes always sell out at the dental meetings. And there's like a line that's way around the building for people to get into your courses. And also, when we joke about being the money lady, but yes, if I can show this in my virtual screen, moving your patients to yes. Did that show up all the way?
It's showing a little bit, but it's all about insurance conversations. And I think the next book, when I write it, is going to be all about financial conversations. I think I have a class called Fearless Financial Conversations, and I think that would be a really good book title too. So I think it's coming in 2021.
Yeah, get with it. Oh my gosh. We're eagerly awaiting the next book. And I know as soon as we can get back into real life, dental meetings again, that you will be selling out. And in the meantime, people can find you all over with the webinars and such. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what a lot of people may not know, though, is that we know each other from way back in the day. We've been talking about social media. I have now for about a decade, and you were talking a lot about social media back in the day, too, because you had a passion for that. And I think you were one of my first Facebook friends when when we were first getting started on
My
it.
goodness, we're dating ourselves with that, right? So you know how nowadays blogging is blogging is popular now, and it's kind of coming back in style, I think, because a lot of people are home now and they're opening up blogs. But you and I were blogging way back in the day. There were only, I think, maybe 7 or 8 dental blogs when we were blogging, like Lauren Levine and I think Fluky, and then there was the Dental Insider. There was only a handful of us, and we got together. Rita, I remember you emailed me and you said, we're going to be at a meeting together. I'd love to get together with you. And I was like, yeah, sure. Fellow blogger. Why not? And that was how we started being such good friends. So so the blog brought us together, Rita.
A written blog. I feel like the more people that I'm seeing that are doing blogs are doing video blogs. So more YouTube blogs and that sort of thing now versus the written blogs, which kind of makes me sad because I still love writing. That's my thing, if I had a choice for the content creation tools, but
maybe it'll come back in style.
Yeah, perhaps. So, yeah, let's go ahead and dive in and start talking about the dental memberships and what you're seeing. I'm just seeing them growing in popularity right now. And I don't know if it's as a result of they've always been popular, but now because of COVID, they're getting even more popular. I mean, what are you seeing out there?
So over the past 4 or 5 years, I've been talking to my audience members about it, and I'll usually ask them, how much are you charging? What's included? And I'm really strategic about asking that because half of the room has no idea what I'm talking about. So they've never heard of it, or they have no idea how to do it. They've never actually talked to somebody that's done it. And so I'm really careful in my classes to say, what is it like? How's the administration? We have maybe about 15, 20 minutes on that in the class. And people then realize it's not as difficult as it sounds. So it's definitely great for offices who are looking for something to give to their uninsured patients, their elderly patients, because Medicare and even Medicare supplemental typically doesn't cover dental. So they're looking for that. Self-employed people will eat this up. Small businesses will eat this up. But offices usually didn't know what to do with it. Well, now with COVID, it became very popular. I talked to many of the membership plan companies, and they've all told me how like they're busy, they're hiring like crazy, they're super busy because with COVID and the focus on money, dentists are now realizing cash flow is king. And one of the big issues with cash flow in a practice is how much is tied up in insurance. And so there was a lot of wake up calls like, why am I participating with this plan? This plan stinks. I'm making no money. There's a lot of factors to it, but I think COVID really put front and center how a membership plan can help move you out of network.
Okay, I kind of had a feeling you were going to say that, somewhat of a trick question, because that is where getting your patients to yes, moving your patients to yes kind of comes in the money lady stuff. You're like, whatever works. So yeah, that's really cool. And what are your thoughts on, I've noticed, and I don't have a relationship with any particular dental membership plan yet. I have a couple of clients that are using Clear, and I like that they have different marketing resources available for them to promote it. They make it easy, to have little video snippets or images available for social media, because you have to be consistent in posting about whatever it is you want to get your patients familiar with. And as you know, some practices struggle with that. But do you see anything interesting with marketing or any particular plans that you think are doing a good job with this?
I really like when they can get testimonials from patients and put that up, like this, I had a client who transitioned over and his name was Dr. Mann. So he was the Mann plan. So, for example, Dr. Mann would have like testimonials from people and they would say, because of the Mann plan, I could get this done or I could get whatever. And it's on Yelp and Google. And if you see a testimonial like that, grab it, put it up as a Facebook post or, Google My Business or whatever. You just need to get the word out that this is something that people are using, because as confused as the team was about implementing it. So all those confused people in my audience, when they go to talk about it with patients, they need to be able to explain it. Now, your patients are probably not going to understand it all that well either. So anything that you can put out for social media that lets them know what the plan is, what the specifics are, how easy it is, that's going to preheat it for when they come in and you can talk to them about it. So I like it to be all over the website. I like it to be in the Facebook, front and center, the Facebook cover, if they can put something in there about that. I love that. And I just, if you've got it, trumpet it out. Because with the way things are going with COVID, some people may not have insurance when they did last time they came to see you. And they may know somebody who's lost their job and may need a way to pay for their dental bills. So market it to everyone.
Yeah. So it sounds like people may be going through transition of jobs or, who knows what's happening, that they have some concerns about finances right now. And so a membership plan just gives them one other option. And so it's a good time right now to kind of explore that option if you're not already. And so, yeah, you're saying like you got to get out there and, trumpet it and get, really get the word out. And I think in multiple different ways, and just that consistency is what's really important. I think a lot of us forget about it because when we're posting on social media about something, we're like, oh, I already posted about that. And then turns out you posted about it once, like 2 or 3 months ago. And you're like, you remember it, but your patients need to see it multiple times. And then as you know, Teresa, things have changed over the years where we're not seeing all the content that everyone shares. So you have to keep putting it out there in different ways, sort of like breadcrumbs to see, who might happen to see it at different times.
Well, and for your audience and your clients who are not offering a membership plan, it's a good idea to still understand how they work or look to be with a company that isn't necessarily having a membership plan implemented. They handle it all. So I know you mentioned Clear, and they will manage, I think, the financial part of it where they'll take payment. But there's apps and companies. One is called Wally Health, and I've been working with them, and they actually go direct to the consumer. And so they're working with the consumer to find doctors who are willing to just see the patient for a small fee. There's no administration involved. So if your clients in the audience are looking to not really have so much admin, maybe that's a way to do it. But regardless of what they choose, first of all, when they bring it into the office, they should announce, hey, just in, we're proud to present. Make a big deal about it. Make sure there's signs up about it. If you're doing electronic billing, make sure there's a blurb on the bottom of it. This is where you can customize everything. All of your email messaging, make sure that it's a regular part of it. I also have told people that it's a good idea to include it in your email signatures. Ask us about the man plan, ask us about our Smile membership club. And, they may not click on it, but what they'll do is they'll remember more times they see it, it'll make sense to them. That's marketing, that's marketing.
Yeah, I love that. So a little bit of everything everywhere, not just social media. That's really great. And I think you mentioned Wally Health, is that right?
Yeah.
And so we'll put these links in this description as well, so people have access to that to be able to check it out. That's really cool. I also think that, when we talk about social media, specifically in these membership plans, that hopefully practices are boosting the post if they're using Facebook to try and get the word out about this. Because what are you seeing as far as practices actually boosting their posts? Like, do they talk to you about that ever? Or do you see what percentage would you guess are actually doing that?
I'm not sure. I know when they work with somebody like you who knows what they're doing, they get boosted. But I mean, that's really not something we talk about. I always advise them to look into Facebook marketing, and they, whether or not they do it, that's, I give them your name and I say, hey, call her, figure out what to do about it. But there needs to be more than just putting up this post and getting 2 or 3 likes. We need to get more there. And I'll give them sort of a benchmark that, this should get comments from non-patients. Like, hopefully you get some comments from non-patients. That's kind of telling you whether or not it's the reach. So I do think that all our offices across the board could do a little bit more marketing, especially social media marketing. So having a beautiful website makes a big difference, but you got to be a little bit more active than just that.
Yeah. And, we've been known to say that websites are irrelevant, because they're still incredibly important today, but we kind of consider social media to be the new website. Like, it's something that you have to show patients that you're current. And a lot of patients now, especially with COVID, there was a statistic in the New York Times that said, I think it was the month of March, when a lot of people were at home, there was an increase in Facebook usage of 27%, to be exact. So so many more people that are spending time on social media. So you really need to be there. Hopefully both Instagram and Facebook, because I know we have a lot of Instagram lovers that are like, hey, Instagram's my jam. I don't really want to spend time on Facebook, but we still have a huge audience that's there, including moms. So important to have both of those. I know you love social media too, Teresa, because we can share a story about back in the day when we were talking about this, and we practically had tomatoes thrown at us because people were like, what is this social media you talk of?
Yeah, no, that brings us way back. Like, I feel like we're in like dental caveman days, because we were talking about social media, and people, first of all, we were doing roundtables, I should say, at this one meeting.
Yes.
And they asked us to speak, and we were like, oh, this is great. We're going to let people know what they can do. Look what it's done for us. And we sat down, you and I, and the first round, I remember we were like having to explain what social media was. So not even how to use it, but just what it is. And I remember people saying this is never going to take off. And you and I were, after I think the second round, we were like, what is going on here?
Yeah, you're being very nice, because people were mean. They were like angry at us. What is this Facebook that you speak of? I mean, they were just really angry because they were like, do you realize how much work this is going to take? And who has time to be sitting behind a computer all day long? Because this was pre the mobile era, really. And so they would have been bitter then now too. But it's funny, and it's kind of nice now. I'm like internally kind of giggling, because a lot of them are very active on social media, to this day.
Right.
Couldn't admit that they were the naysayers back in the day, but whatever.
It's interesting too, because I think it speaks to the evolution of consulting in dental. Because back when we started out, it was really in vogue to be a consultant for everything in the office. So like you were a soup to nuts type consultant. And adding social media, of course they were annoyed, because it's like, first of all, they didn't know what they were doing. And now we're trying to train to be experts on it, and they don't even have a Facebook account. So, you're right. Tomatoes were, I think if they had them, they would have thrown them. But now it's so normal to niche. Like, look at you, your whole carve out social media, and me, insurance. When I started out, I thought I had to be a full service person, and thank God, because I can't do that.
Yeah, I know, that is true. Well, we'll have to have you back so we can talk about the evolution of dental consulting. And, I think I hadn't really thought about that, Teresa. That is really interesting, because I think you're absolutely right. And there are just so many different options. That's why I think sometimes people come to us and they're like, do you also offer SEO? And we're like, no, that's like a totally different science. And
Right.
so, yeah, well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, because I know you are also like the webinar queen right now, and you're Zoom after Zoom after Zoom. And I kept hoping we would see your little Siamese twin head pop up. Can you make it like, I just
Yeah, let
saw
me
it right
see. Can you
now.
see it? I don't know. I'm
If
trying
you
to,
move over a certain way, you
let
could
me
see it.
see. Yeah,
And that's,
Griffin's sleeping in the background, so I don't know if I can get him to pop
we're having
up.
fun with our virtual backgrounds today.
Yeah,
Teresa's got her 3 adorable pups, and one of
my
them
Griffin usually
behind her head.
sleeps. Yeah, let me see. I don't know if you can see him. It's like a ghost, right? So, oh, there's
Oh,
his snout.
goodness.
Okay, all right. People are going to think we're really
Yeah, so
weird.
they
So,
don't think that you truly have like a Siamese twin that's like a dog head popping up or something. Oh
he
my gosh.
always makes appearances, though. If you watch enough of my webinars, I remember I was giving one webinar for ADOM, and it was an ADOM live, and someone emailed me and said, "Where was Griffin? Griffin's usually behind you on the couch." So he's
I
got
know.
he's got fans.
Yeah, we'll have to have him show up for our next talk, because we definitely will talk again. We have so much to talk about always.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time. For everyone else out there, please continue to stay tuned, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, to keep up with awesome tips and insight, and learn more ways how you can continue to grow your practice with social media. So thank you so much, Teresa. I appreciate you, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thank you so much.